Please pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Right now in America, there are over 4,000 credit card transactions happening every single second. That's 153 million today alone. Here's the question. How many of those are yours? If you accept credit cards in your business, raise your hand or type yes in the chat. Okay? Now imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and your credit card processor has shut you down. No warning, no reason, just gone. Cash flow gone. Sales dead. Customers helpless. This isn't a scare tactic. It's reality. Ask the 7-figure entrepreneur who filed bankruptcy after losing payment access, or the coach who lost everything after her account was frozen for 6 months. That's why the Genius Network member you're about to meet could literally save your business. She doesn't just talk about backup plans, she lives them. As CEO of C60 Power, she's built a company around a Nobel Prize winning molecule. And more importantly, she survived the credit card processing nightmare and knows how to bulletproof your business. Her talk, redundancy, why you need a backup plan if you sell anything on the internet. Put your phones down, get ready to take notes. Please help me welcome Jessica McDonald. Hi. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was October 2018, and I got a call from a friend. He was in an extreme panic. He didn't know what to do. He was a scientist, not a business person. He had created a product, people loved it, and he had just started making money on the internet. But when he woke up that October morning, he had an email from Chase Bank waiting for him. The message said that due to a barrage of chargebacks he had received, his account was now closed. And all the money in his account could be held for up to 12 months, or potentially longer, or until the time that the bank felt all the chargebacks were resolved. How much money was tied up? About $250,000. My friend thought his life was over. His name and the website URL ended up on the match list overnight. Now, for anyone who has never heard of the match list, it's essentially a death sentence for your business. It's a blacklist for Mastercard and their friends, and it means you've been labeled too high risk to do business with. And once you're on this list, you're blocked from doing business with Mastercard or Visa for at least the next 7 years, sometimes 10. Once I started digging into the situation, I could see a pattern. The company had been targeted by an organized crime ring out of the UK. This group had gotten access to stolen credit card information and was buying his products, unbeknownst to him, with stolen credit cards. This situation that happened to him was likely a spam bot attack. This is when bad actors gain access to stolen credit card information, and they hit your website with thousands of transactions in a short amount of time. They usually do this in the middle of the night or at some kind of odd hour when you're not paying attention, and they try to see how many products of yours they can buy and which cards will work on your site. Now, if you have a fraud filtering technology, you can slow these attacks down or sometimes prevent them altogether. But in this case, my friend was not prepared. He never imagined a scenario like this would come his way. Now, you might think Chase Bank or Mastercard would want to care about unearthing all that fraud, but the truth is they really don't. What you need to know is if you process any transaction on the internet, you are responsible. Any transaction that you process, you're responsible for making sure that the card owner is who they say that they are. And that's hard to do when sales are occurring on your website while you sleep and you have no infrastructure because you're just getting started. Now, this business had great potential. The customers were experiencing amazing outcomes, but the damage was already done. So we had to start over. I created a brand new company, built out operating procedures to identify and address possible fraud, and technology that could be integrated into the business to help us prevent future fraud, and established relationships with multiple processors. Now, if my friend had known what I'm about to tell you today when he started this business, this entire mess could have been completely avoided. If you sell products on the internet, this is why you need redundancy in your processing plan. And there are 5 simple steps that I'm going to share with you now that you can take to ensure you don't experience a similar nightmare if you're selling products or services on the internet. I call these steps DISEP.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there.
The first step is all about diversifying. You need to diversify your processing relationships. Don't rely just on one company to process your credit cards with. If you have a Stripe account and a PayPal account, that's pretty common. It's just not enough. You need to be more prepared. In e-commerce, you really need to have more than one credit card processor. You need several. With this model, once you have established a processing history with multiple processors, you can get better rates. You can use the processor who gives you the best rates as your primary processor, and you can send the additional processors that you're signed up with a percentage of your transactions to keep those accounts active. And once you start to scale, you're in good shape because you've already got expanded bandwidth to scale. With time, you can negotiate better rates, and often you can find out that any reserves that the processors required you to have will go away. And now you'll be in the driver's seat making choices. You'll be in the driver's seat with more choices for your business. I'm going to admit this step can be a little bit time consuming and there's a fair amount of paperwork involved, but it sure beats being held hostage by a bank. The second step is to implement. It is implementing fraud prevention measures into your operations. You can use technology like an intelligent transaction router and train yourself and your team to notice what fraud looks like. So you can notice things like, does the email address match the name on the order? Is the ship to address a different address than the billing address or a different name? Does the email address or ship to name look like an unusual name from outside of the US? If you use a fulfillment center, you can wait to ship your products up to 24 hours after the orders come in. This step can slow down some lower level fraudsters who often call in a request for a refund within the first 1 to 4 hours after they place an order, hoping that you're going to ship the product and refund the money. The third step is for CRM, Customer Relationship Management System. You can use a CRM with an intelligent transaction router and other fraud filters and use a blacklist to block out bad actors and bad customers from your company. I use a CRM called Checkout Champ. It works on WooCommerce and Shopify. Now, this isn't an endorsement for Checkout Champ. I want to be clear about that. I'm not an affiliate. I just appreciate their technology. Their system also helps improve conversions at checkout, and it allows me to blacklist bad customers. So anybody who files a chargeback against me, I can prevent them from shopping in my store again. It also allows me to add a person's name to a shared global blacklist, which alerts other merchants on the platform if a customer has a habit of filing chargebacks, which can also be an indicator of fraud in some cases. It allows me to manage the percentage of sales that I choose to send to each processor as well. Now, if a relationship with a processor gets weird at some point, for example, they throw out some rule that you don't like or you don't agree with, or maybe they start doing some cancel culture actions against a certain cohort of people because of your social media posts. If you get concerned about that, you're in charge. You can turn down the amount of volume that you send them, and or you can just shut down the account altogether, no problem. Ultimately, you're in charge of your business and your money, and it's not the other way around. Step 4 is for Ask the Experts. I'm going to assume everybody in here probably is already doing this step, but it's working with professionals who can help you navigate your world. Attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, web developers, and if you run into trouble like my friend did, you can even call the police. The last step is all about pivoting. I think really what you have to do is just think about the worst case scenario and always have a backup plan to pivot. In my opinion, one of the most important traits of being a dangerous entrepreneur, as Joe calls us, is the ability and willingness and courage to pivot when you need to. So now you know why you need redundancy in your business and in your processing. My recommendation is this. If you don't have a second processor or a backup plan, please take this opportunity right now to start to think about getting one. And if you don't have an intelligent transaction router or some fraud prevention technology built into your business, you might be at risk. I was planning on putting up 2 QR codes up here with companies that you guys could reach out to, but I didn't realize I broke the rules, so I'm not going to do that, but I'll tell you who they are. You can Google, if you're interested in this intelligent transaction router, Checkout Champ, if you're interested in that. And you can also find me if you have any questions about a situation that you're going through. I'm happy to help give you some feedback about what we experienced. I don't do this professionally, but if you'd like some feedback, I'm happy to give it to you. And then if you're interested in another company for a backup processor, FluidPay is a company that I use. So with that being said, I want you all to know that if you love this information, I may consider it for a TED Talk. But if you don't like it, I'm probably just going to do a TEDx in my living room.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. You're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.